Welcome to Business Mastery with Dawn Kennedy, your quick under 45-minute dose of expert insights and strategies to make a positive impact on your business and life. Let's get started. All right, hello and welcome to this episode of the Business Mastery Podcast. So e-commerce, huge. Lots and lots of brick and mortar are getting into e-commerce. And a lot of e-commerce companies that have stood up independently have actually become brick and mortar. An example just from my own industry would be that coffee company that was originally started for veterans, and now they're starting to open their own chains, brick and mortar, but they started online. Interesting way to reach your customers. And I have somebody who started an online e-commerce business 10 years ago. We're going to talk through the different models and the different ways of delivery and what has made him so successful. So, Dennis, thank you so much and welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
All
Happy to
right.
be here.
Yeah. So, can you tell everyone who you are and who you serve?
Okay, my name is Dennis. I'm a small business owner. In 2001, I opened a barber shop in New Jersey on a main street in a very nice town, and started cutting hair there. And this was before technology started. And 2001, we only had like rotary phones at the time, and like the old school radios.
Right.
And just worked for like 10 years straight. And then in the 10-year after the 10-year period, things started to shift. We started to see things totally, change with internet and YouTube and Facebook and how we're communicating and how we're interacting with them. And that's when things started changing. That was a big pivotal point for me, at least.
And when did you open your Amazon store?
So the Amazon store was started in 2010.
Wow.
And it was basically designed behind the barber chair. So, when I looked at Amazon at the time, I was so overwhelmed with all these products and all these different items, and it could be overwhelming for somebody who doesn't know where to start. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start right here at the barbershop. What does the barbershop need? Because there was a long time, before that where there was very little innovation going on in our sector. But now that, Instagram came out and all these different platforms, barbers are starting coming out of the woodwork and sharing what they're doing. So I was starting to get inspired. I'm like, wow, so, this needs to be rethought about. And the way we handle this situation, like, I'll give you an example. Like, let's say we're doing a shave, right? And let's say we nick somebody on the face. What is our solution? That hasn't been touched in a very long time.
Okay.
So our options were like liquid or like powder. So if I use the powder, I would have a black dot on the customer's face. So I just spent all this time making them look great. And now I put this powder on and boom, it turns black. Didn't like that idea. The liquid, we didn't see really good results with it. Our other solution was like a nick stick, but that's not sanitary,
Yeah.
right? So we said, all right, let's come up with something where we'll take the ingredient of the nick stick. I don't have any with me here, but we'll put it on a matchstick. So we'll make it one-time use.
I love it.
So we'll use it once, throw it out, and then it's sanitary. And that's how my line kicked in. And then it was just started to work on other things like our razors and, what are the ingredients we're using here? Like, what are all these crazy ingredients? We don't need all that. So everything was designed behind the barbershop with the customer in mind. And my slogan is, by design with you in mind.
I love that.
That's our slogan. By design with you in mind. Every product I have is all designed behind a chair by me or one of my workers, or somebody inspired me in the industry to do it. And it was always to be better, innovative, and simpler ingredients. Most of my products have no less than like no more than 12 ingredients. Like
Right.
that stick I told you about only has one ingredient.
Right. So You had to also reach people in your profession who weren't local because barber shops, generally, they're local, they're brick and mortar, not as
Yes.
many mobile barbers. There's some, right? So you went to Amazon to reach your barber industry and to reach the
Yes.
people who would use the product. So when you opened, did they even have FBA, fulfilled by Amazon
Yes.
back then? They
They
did
did.
from the beginning. Let's talk about how
Yeah.
that
So,
works.
all right, before we get into FBA, I just want to say this. For any small business owner out there, whether you're in the service business or any kind of business, there's never been a time in history where we're able to partner and align ourselves with $1 billion company. When have we ever seen that?
Right.
Right? Prior to Amazon or internet, whatever you want to call it, um, what were our options?
Right.
Making the
Trade
product, putting it on the shelf, and we were only exposed to who walked in our store or if we advertised in a newspaper or whatever.
Yep. Maybe
Now,
a trade show if that.
yeah, now if like you're an electrician and you figured out a way, it doesn't have to be a crazy invention. It could be like a piece, like let's say it's a part that's used for one thing, and then you just repurpose it. That's all. It doesn't have to be like this huge invention that comes from you from outer space, and then you have to go patent it, and then you got to spend all this money. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't have to be that way. It can be, doesn't have to be. You can simplify it and say, what can I do here to make this easier? Because I do this every day,
Yeah.
right? I do this, so I know what it needs. So if like a painter came out with a new brush, if
Sure.
he could just take it, white label it, put his name on it, put it on Amazon, and then the market will tell you if you're right or wrong. Amazon will tell you, not Amazon, but the market itself.
Right.
Now,
Inside
what's cool,
Amazon.
yeah, what's cool about Amazon is like, I know they get a lot of hate for like competition and whatever, but at the end of the day, they're willing to give you a chance. And if your product converts,
Mhm.
like if customers like it and they leave a lot of reviews, they're going to give you a chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
They will. They will give you a chance.
So let's
And
talk a little bit about the model though. And you brought up
yeah,
competition. I actually want to talk also about counterfeiting. Have you found that in
yeah.
your products? Yeah. So let's talk
Well, first
about
of all,
yes,
yeah, I'm
let's
sorry.
talk about that inside the model because I'm pretty sure the audience is got the same questions.
Well, let me make it clear what I am. I'm a private label seller only. Okay, there's different type of sellers. You got resellers. So you got sellers that will buy branded products and then resell. I'm not that. I take a product and I want to put my brand on it. That's just the way I work. There are different strategies, but that's my strategy. I don't have a crazy list of products, but I have just enough where I can manage quality control and I lead most of the niches that I'm in. I lead the niches that I'm
Got
in.
it. Okay.
So
So
the
not
question
reselling.
was, I'm not a reseller. So what you're gonna see is
It's
now
niche.
if you're a reseller and you're going to buy brands to resell on Amazon, there's a lot of things you got to do your research. Number one, does that brand want to be on Amazon? Are you allowed to sell on Amazon? Are there restrictions of selling that brand on Amazon? So there's a lot of research that has to go into it when you talk about like, are you buying like legitimate brands, right? Like you could buy a brand that you think is legit, you put it on Amazon, then the brand owner sees it and then files a report against you for saying it's not legit. So that's where you run into those issues. But I don't run into those issues because I'm a private label.
So have
Right.
you ever been counterfeited though? I mean, you
No.
came up with a single use product that is really, needed in your industry. Was that ever counterfeited that you're aware of?
Um, I wouldn't say counterfeit, but like they'll try to steal your traffic. They'll make products and then try to take your keywords that you're converting on and they'll
Mhm.
try to put it under theirs and try to steer traffic. But at the end of the day, you know who the leaders are.
Mhm.
You see the reviews, you see the quality of the listing, and you see the quality of the product. You know who's the leader there. So they can
Right.
play their games.
Okay.
And then one of the biggest things that you have to rely on is your brand. No one can take your brand. If you
Right.
copyright your name, no one can take that away from you. And I think that's like the biggest thing that you should worry about is your brand and the quality of your products. If you stick with that, stay in your lane, you should have no problems.
Okay.
Depending on the niche you're in, depending on the
Right.
niche you choose. Each
Right.
niche is different. Some are more competitive than others.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's a big factor.
So now let's talk about your product production and delivery because FBA, I believe, is fulfilled by Amazon, means Amazon has
Right.
the product already.
Correct.
And then there's a drop shipping where they don't start
Yes.
doing anything with the product till the order
Yeah.
is placed. And then there's your fulfilling from
Right.
yourself. So let's talk
That's
about
correct.
those and let's talk about why you chose the one you did. And then let's be really honest too about some of the fees and things that are involved. Because again, all of these different models are available, even if you're just on Amazon, right? You can pick how you want to actually fulfill any orders you get.
Yeah. Of course.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So that's a lot to talk about right there. I'll try to condense it and try to make it usable. But
Mm.
first of all, there's two kind of sellers. You got fulfilled by Amazon and you got fulfilled by merchant. Fulfilled by Amazon, you take your product, you send it to Amazon warehouse. The warehouse then sends it out to the network, and then they pick, pack, and ship every single order. You worry about nothing, and they want that to be prime, which is typically 2 days. And there's a whole rabbit hole I can go into on why you'd want to go that route. I'll give you a couple pros about it. I'll give you a couple cons. The first pro is you don't have to worry about pick, pack, and shipping every single order. United States is big. Amazon knows where your product should be placed in the United States based on demand. So if you're going to send 1,000 units, Amazon will make it easy for you to send it to one location nearest where your product is. And they'll give you a discounted shipping rate for UPS to get it there. That's cool. All right. And then Amazon takes over from there and distributes it throughout the whole entire United States and places it exactly where it needs to be for it to be there in 2 days. So, yes, that's expensive. Yes, they take a big percentage. They take more than half of the sale, but
Oh, wow.
they're covering the shipping, they're covering the whole US, and they're delivering my product in 2 days to my customers.
So are they taking 50% of wholesale or retail?
So if your product sells for $10, they're going to take like $6.
Okay.
And I'm not including advertising. That's
Right.
just their fees. But that includes the pick, pack, and ship. That includes shipping it around the country, and getting it to the customers when they want it in 2 days.
But you have an investment first in the wholesale production, right? To have it
Yes,
produced for you?
of course. Yeah, I got to put up the money. I got to store my products. And then, I got to ship it to the fulfillment center when it's ready.
Right. Right. Okay. So pricing is obviously got to be a really big consideration to go on Amazon. That
Of course. Yeah.
you are
You
in
do your
a
research.
place to be profitable. Right.
Yeah, you got to do your cost of goods.
Hmm.
So how much are you in it for? What are your fees outside of Amazon? You got warehousing, you may have some other logistics and whatever, da da da. You got to keep that low. Then you add on Amazon fees, and is there a profit?
Right.
Right. So that's the key. But I think the service that they provide is tremendous. It's unbelievable. I know they get a lot of hate if you go out and research them and listen to other sellers. You're going to hear horror stories. Yes, there are horror stories, but at the end of the day, their service outmatches any service I ever used. No one can compete with their service and their
Right.
information.
Yeah, and they have captured such a large portion of the market for market research and product testing. So absolutely. But we just want to be really kind of clear about the fees and the requirements and the things that happen because you don't have to do fulfilled by Amazon. So if they
Oh.
just take your order, there's other costs that come back on you, like shipping labels and things like
Yeah.
that.
So
But
the reason why I
I-
chose, I'm
yeah.
sorry to interrupt,
No, no.
the reason why I chose FBA is because I'm cutting hair. I don't have time to pick, pack, and ship. That's a whole nother business. That's a warehouse. That means you have to have employees. I gotta have trucks and workers' comp. I don't have time. I want Amazon to handle that. I just want to store my product. I'm cutting hair. Let me do what I do at my shop. Let me just keep innovating products. So let me increase revenue while you guys take care of that. And then they got fulfilled by merchant, FBM, which is called, where you pick, pack, and ship everything. But I feel like you don't get the edge in sales because Amazon wants to, I think, in my opinion, wants to promote what they got.
Right. What's on their
They're
shelves.
what's on their shelves, and they want to push their prime. You're not prime as FBM.
Oh, okay. So everybody
You're not
listening
considered
to
prime
this episode, if you decide to go Amazon seller
on your own.
fulfilled by merchant, they don't put you in Prime.
No, you're not prime. They can't guarantee it because if you're in New Jersey and you got an order in
Oh.
California, you're not prime. If you got an order in New Jersey, California, Arizona, you're not prime.
Yeah, that's going to lessen their liability for guaranteeing 2-day shipping when you are the one who has to do the shipping. That makes
Okay, but
total
don't get me
business
wrong now.
sense.
This
But that makes
doesn't
total business sense that Prime pretty much guarantees 2 days. And if Prime doesn't hold the product, they can't guarantee that.
no. And
Yeah.
plus, people pay for prime.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
So if you're a member, they want memberships. They don't make money on you sending your own product.
Yeah.
They make money on memberships.
Sure.
So they'd rather have your product and then so they can consider it prime so they can satisfy their memberships.
Sure. Now it makes total business sense because the liability of saying it'll get there in 2 days, but we're not in control of the product or the shipping type or any of that, that's not gonna be okay. The business lawyers are
I
probably
want
not gonna
I
like
want
that
the
decision.
audience, I want the listeners to think like this is not on every product.
Sure.
So let's say, I don't know, it's a hazardous material. Let's say it's alcohol. Okay. Alcohol is considered hazardous because it's flammable.
And they sell that on Amazon?
Yeah.
I did not
So,
know that. Okay. I did not know they sold alcohol on Amazon. I've never
yeah,
looked.
they do. Yeah. It's under hazardous and you got to have special
Sure. Sure.
approvals. It is very costly, but they sell it. But, so that may work for fulfilled by merchant because you got a special product
Yeah.
or like a heavy product, like an air conditioner or I don't know, something unique and different that would go by FBA. It's not a big, I wouldn't just consider it all FBA, 100%. No. So it depends on the product, the weight, and what's inside of it. You got to do a little research.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question. Let's talk about I guess how long before you get paid after you make an order? Do they batch it? Is there a minimum amount? Let's talk about cash flow because again, we know you have to come out of pocket to reorder the goods and we know that you have to ship it to Amazon. So what does
Mhm.
that mechanism look like? When do they pay you? So I do know that there are some businesses that are net 90, which could be very difficult for a small business
Yeah.
to be able to cash flow
Mhm.
and to be able to restock. So, is this a bit of a capital investment up front? Is this, if somebody is listening to this and going, that is so cool. This guy developed products for his own industry while he's in the industry, selling them on, I'm not going to say on the side, but really this sounds like this runs on its own now that you built that and then you can focus on what you really love to do. So, what are those pieces of consideration?
Good, good question. So we get paid every 2 weeks,
Okay.
every other Friday, I think. It's twice a month. It happens twice a month. Friday, 6 p.m., you get a draft to your account. They minus their fees, money's in your account. You're good to go. You can pull reports. They're very good with that. You can see how much they took out. They give you a breakdown um, of all your fees, and then there's your net every other Friday. Now, There are some brands that, like the bigger brands, like national brands, they'll give it to Amazon and you take over. We don't want to deal with it. And then they get paid, I think it's every 60 days, I believe. But for guys like us, like small, sellers, every other every other week. And I'll tell you something funny. Um, my friend, he's a very big reseller. And as a seller, to be a professional seller on Amazon, you have to pay a yearly fee. I think it's like $70.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
yeah, $70, and then you could sell on their platform. So when you do that, you got to give them a debit card or a credit card on file, and they'll automatically draft it once a year. So my friend does over like $20 million a year in business as a reseller. He has no private label, all resell.
Wow.
So you can imagine the amount of money he gets every 2 weeks. All right. You're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. He told me that one year, his credit card that pays the $70 happened to expire. Okay. So they couldn't draft the $70. They withheld hundreds of thousands of dollars until he went back into the account and activated the $70.
Holy cow. That's funny.
So that's just to give you an example how this could work.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a wild west in there,
Okay.
because he's got he's got employees, he's got warehouse cost, he's got like a 30,000-foot warehouse. He's got a lot of moving parts. Any day, Amazon could just be like, "Bloop," turn the switch off and shut your operation down, regardless of
Yeah.
size.
Right. Yeah. That is
So
that is a consideration, isn't it?
that's the con side,
Yeah.
right?
Now, have you
So
tried to build this independently on your own also, like through your own website or your own online presence outside, or are you 100% Amazon?
100% Amazon,
Okay.
because I'm running my businesses.
Mhm.
If I wanted to be that way, that would have been my business. But this was just another company under my other businesses. So I didn't want to
Sure.
go that route. I wanted to automate this so that it's all automated with very minimal work and no employees. That was the goal.
And you've been doing this for 10 years now.
2010.
Okay, so you've been doing this for 15 years now.
2010, yes.
Yeah, and you haven't I mean, I'm sure we know policies and procedures have changed, and we've known that costs and percentages have changed over the years, but overall, would you say in your 15-year run, it's been pretty consistent, pretty stable, pretty, what I would call maybe predictable about how much you need to order, your lead time, and when, absent the pandemic, so we won't count that. But outside of that time frame, since you've been doing this for so long, would you say once you get it figured out, it's pretty consistent and predictable?
It can be. There's a learning curve. You definitely have to learn the nuances of how things work, and the nuances of bringing something to market, and having the right manufacturing in place,
Sure.
and having the right systems in place so that you're successful. So there's definitely a learning curve there, and technology is constantly changing, and Amazon's constantly innovating and coming up with new ideas and technology, and you got to adapt to that. You got to understand where they're going, and they're not the ones to wait for technology. They go out and innovate it. So you definitely have to be on the forefront of technology and see where they're going and try to align with them, and then you'd be successful.
Let me ask you this. So with that statement, do you feel like Amazon gives you enough notice to be able to adapt? Have you ever found yourself in a place where you felt like changes happened and you weren't able to immediately, pivot or respond? Because I think that is not necessarily a complaint I hear on Amazon, but it is a complaint I've heard on other shopping platforms, not naming names, where they had made these sweeping changes without a lot of seller input, or they didn't give them a lot of notice. And people discovered it because there were additional fees that were withdrawn from the platform without really a whole lot of explanation. They go, oh, just go back and read your terms of service, right? Do you feel like Amazon does a good job keeping their sellers informed about the upcoming changes?
I think so. Um, there's definitely no gray area with them, and
Oh,
they really got things dialed in
mhm.
and their expenses. And if you're not aware of it, then there's definitely like research tools you can go figure it out. But like I said, they're constantly innovating and changing, which can change costs. I'll give you an example. It used to be where I could just take my 1,000 items and send it to one fulfillment center. That was it. A couple of years ago, they're like, all right, that's becoming really costly for us, taking your products and shipping them around the country. Let us let's give you some options. Now they're like, do you want to send it around the country and pay less? Or do you want to pay a little bit more and we will do it? See?
Yeah.
So
They gave you an option.
they gave me an option and their algorithm will calculate how much will it cost for me to send out throughout the entire country, where, where in the country, or pay a little more and send it to one fulfillment center. Or this is a new one now, put your inventory in our warehouse and we'll manage it for you. And then we'll auto plenish it while we need it. That's new.
Oh, so they order from your manufacturer
No, no,
now.
they
Oh,
don't
okay.
order from my manufacturing. They're
Okay.
just they want to be in the warehousing business now.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
They are willing to take my products and warehouse it for me, and I could track it now, and then we could autofill replacements as they need it. That's new. That's called AWD,
I
Amazon
never knew
Warehouse
that.
and Distribution. That's pretty new.
Wow.
So now they're pushing sellers to go that route and charging you more fees to make you go that route. So that's an example of how technology is changing and bringing your costs higher, but you have a new direction now.
Let me ask you, how often do you have to check your fees and prices to be competitive on Amazon? Is it every 90 days, every 6 months, once a year? How often do you check your numbers and make sure that you're still, being competitive?
Every other week.
Every other week. Okay.
Yeah.
It changes that fast, not even
No,
once a
no,
quarter?
not that it changes. I want to
Oh,
see what's going on because
okay.
I do advertising. I want to make
Oh,
sure that I'm within budget. We're
yeah.
hitting the correct numbers. Our cost per clicks are in line. Are my
Okay.
keywords doing good? That's all managed week by week. Every other week, we look at our money, make sure we're good. And if we're seeing good sales, we then increase our budgets on certain keywords because we're seeing more better conversions.
And
So
again,
it's
this is on
constantly
the
monitored.
Amazon platform?
Well, you could do it on the Amazon platform. There are also third-party tools that we could use that could track keywords.
On the Amazon
Then,
platform.
yeah, or we could see it on Amazon's platform as well. What
Oh, okay.
keywords are costing us per click?
Okay. So, but it's all integrated, I guess. I'm asking, like, you're not running Google AdWords to drive traffic to Amazon, right? So everything you're
You
doing
could.
actually.
You could.
Oh, you could. Okay.
Yeah, you could
I'm
do
not
that
sure how it's set up, so I just want to be really clear, and I want the audience to understand when you're saying we advertise, you're advertising on
on
the
the platform. Yeah.
Amazon platform
Right.
using keywords. Okay.
Within their portal, they have a whole advertising section where you could
Wow.
create campaigns, choose your keywords, eliminate bad keywords, and then manage your keyword costs and budgeting all on that same platform.
Okay, so I don't know. So I know that a lot of people, when they think of Amazon, they think about either reselling or affiliate links. And I know that they see, that the ads or the
Yeah, they
sponsored
have that.
posts, but I don't know that
Yeah.
people realize that I didn't realize, so you just said so, that this is very holistic. You're not using Google AdWords to run to your Amazon store. Amazon itself also will sponsor and promote your products using the keywords.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
you could do banners, you could do offline banners if you want on their platform. You could also drive traffic. Amazon loves outside traffic coming to them. And there's affiliate links all over the place where you could give you know, uh, an influencer your link and then they could drive traffic to your product and they take a commission, and that's out of you. But yeah, and all that could happen.
That's incredible. Okay, so I don't think I understood the breadth and depth of what Amazon could offer an individual small business, especially white labeling. Um, that you're a one-man operation, and obviously after 15 years, you're doing very well.
Yeah. Takes time.
It does take time,
Um,
sure. Sure. And
yeah.
like you said, there's a learning curve. Absolutely.
Total learning curve. You gotta just stick through it and go through it and learn it. But once you get it, like we did this one product, you could have fun with it. Like I'm having fun now. So my daughter at the time was 10 years old. Okay. We went out to eat. My wife's from Turkey. And over there, tea and coffee is very important for gatherings. So we were at a gathering, tea and coffee going around the table. My 10-year-old daughter calls out the coffee bowl thing. Dad, look, they're double dipping the spoon. You see, they're, double dipping. I'm like, yeah, that's a good point. I never thought of that. Later that day, we were at a restaurant. She calls out individually wrapped sugar cubes. I'm like, wow, that's cool. She's like, yeah, Dad, look, that they could have used it. I'm like, wow, okay. So I did a little research. We winded up white labeling it. I'm gonna say, you know what? This is gonna be a project for you. And I'm gonna call it your name. Her name is Tiona. You look it up on Amazon. Teona, individually raw sugar cubes. So I'm like, I'm gonna call it your name, and this is gonna be your project. And let's see what happens. I want you to follow me the whole time. You're gonna help me design. You're gonna help me market it. You're gonna look at my expense reports. Exactly what I do, just for your product. That's what we did. It winded up being one of my top sellers for 5 years now. She now um, is leading that category against other national brands because she had an idea and we took
I
action.
love
In
that.
spite of action, win or lose, I told her, doesn't matter. We're doing it because we thought of it and we have the opportunity to try it.
Yeah, I love it.
And somebody's willing to give us a chance, these platforms. So we're going to try it.
I love that perspective. Where can people find you, follow you, cyberstalk you, on
So
socials or your your website?
you can go to barberup.com.
Okay.
You could go to my email, barberup@gmail. Um, I have a YouTube channel called Barber Up where I cut hair and I do like podcasting while I'm cutting hair.
Oh, I love it.
And we talk about various different topics from health to business, anything unique about the customer they want to talk about. We just talk about while they're getting a haircut. So that's
That's
pretty cool. We just started that channel.
all right. Well, we will
But
definitely put
Barber Up
all
on
the
YouTube.
yeah, we will definitely put all the links down inside the description on YouTube and then, of course, in the show notes for all the podcast platforms. So if you find us on the day this episode launches or even 2 years later, you can go over to Barber Up and, watch Dennis stalk his podcast. It sounds like a lot of fun. And really, thank you so much for sharing kind of these insights and demystifying kind of Amazon as a platform for white label and being really honest and transparent about the fee structures and sort of how the speed of Amazon is something you can't take your eyes off of it. It's obviously a business you have to invest some time with.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you so
Thanks
much
for
for
having
being
me.
here today. Yeah, I appreciate you
Appreciate
so
it.
much. Okay. We'll talk to y'all next time on the next
Take care.
episode of the Business Mastery Podcast. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Business Mastery Podcast. If you want to learn more about me, you can go to DawnKKennedy.com, and you can now check us out on YouTube as well as, of course, any of your favorite platforms that host podcasts. Take care.